What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I wanted to do a quick little update because I got a question from somebody just earlier on today, and they were pretty much asking the same thing a lot of you guys have been wondering. Is the $1,400 stimulus check, is that in jeopardy because of this $15 federal minimum wage? And I want to be 100% upfront because honestly, yes, this is a chance where we could see the $1,400 stimulus checks. We could see those delayed. Now, I'm not expecting we're going to see these completely just blown away, completely just, the stimulus package just blow up over this $15 federal minimum wage. But when a handful of people are asking the same question and are worried about this potentially being in jeopardy because of the $15 minimum wage, I want to address this. But I first want to read a tweet from Bernie Sanders that he posted just earlier today. And he says, raising the minimum wage is not just about economic justice, it is about racial justice. Nearly half of Black and Latino workers in America make under $15 an hour. We must end starvation wages and give 32 million Americans a raise by increasing the minimum wage to $15 per hour. Now, I wanted to address this because what he's saying is this is about racial justice, Blacks and Latinos, and I also want to throw in women here. Okay? He doesn't say this, but all reports indicate that it's Blacks, Latinos, and women. Those three groups are being pretty much targeted, and we need to provide more income for these groups of people. Now, I'm not here to defend just Blacks or just Latinos or just women. It's everybody in general should be on the same level. That's what Bernie Sanders has said many times before. I don't know why in this tweet he excluded women. Maybe he just forgot. But I'm throwing women in here as well because they too are they're paid a lot less than men are. For whatever reason. They just are. Now, here's what I want to say. Because and I don't have a huge script for this video. I just kind of just off the top of my head, just from the heart. And here's what we know. What we know is Joe Manchin, and he said this earlier today as well, is he will not vote for a bill if the Senate parliamentarian is going to be against this. If they rule against the $15 federal minimum wage being included in this next stimulus package, Joe Manchin will not vote for it, which means this could screw the American people over because they've been waiting for the $1,400 stimulus checks. We have less than a month. We have less than 1 month to get this bill done before people on unemployment lose those $300 per week, and people that are on PUA, PEUC, and other unemployment programs, they will lose all their benefits as well. So this is a huge issue. This is a huge issue that we need to finally come to grips with and realize we're getting close, but the deal is not yet done. Now, what we do know is that the $1,400 stimulus checks, they've been agreed upon, and yes, Congress is moving forward, or specifically the House and Democrats are moving forward with this. We also know unemployment at $400 per week up until August 29th will be included. We also know there will be, I believe, $40 billion for vaccine distribution funding, testing, tracing, and things like that, additional PPE. Those are the three pillars. But we also know we need additional rental assistance because there's still people out there, and I still receive questions all the time. Hey, are we going to hear anything about rental assistance? And honestly, at this point, we're waiting, but we've been waiting for way too long. Now, we also know that Kirsten Sinema, she is one that is not for the $15 federal minimum wage. So at this point, there's two names that we need to keep an eye on. Joe Manchin, because he will not vote for a bill that not necessarily has $15 federal minimum wage, but if the Senate parliamentarian doesn't rule in favor of this and says, no, you cannot pass this in a budget reconciliation bill, then Joe Manchin is pretty much going to side with the Senate parliamentarian. But Kirsten Sinema, the Democrat from Arizona, she is actually on the side of, I don't want to see a $15 federal minimum wage no matter what, because we need to get through this pandemic first. That's what she says. That's her take. That is her side. And she's also stated multiple times just over the past couple of weeks that she will not be strong-armed. She will not be pressured into voting yes just because she's the only one that is voting no on the Democratic side. She will vote no because that is the right thing to do. And according to the Congressional Budget Office, who did a complete study on this just last week alone, they state that 900 million people, actually 900,000 people, will be lifted out of poverty because of this additional increase in wages. It won't be $15 per hour immediately. This will only go from $7.25 up to $9.50 immediately. Then after a year, I think it goes to $11 and so on and so forth. And in 4 years, it will finally get up to $15. But the CBO also states that because of this increase in wages, we will see roughly 1.4 million people lose their jobs because of this. So yes, there's a lot of numbers, a lot of figures, a lot of studies going into all this, $15 federal minimum wage talk. But what I can tell you is the $15 federal minimum wage and the targeting of the $1,400 stimulus checks, this right here can completely blow up this stimulus package for 2 reasons. Okay, just those 2 reasons alone. And here's what we know. Joe Manchin, he wants more targeted stimulus checks. He wants us to be way more targeted. Right now, Bernie Sanders, he just said this the other day, is he really wants to see these stimulus checks go to the same people as last time. This means for individuals that make anything under $75,000, you get a full stimulus check, and then it will phase out gradually over time. But he is not on board with cutting it off at $100,000. And for couples, for people filing jointly, he does not agree on $150,000 and cutting it off at $200,000. He says $150,000 is fine, and let's phase out the stimulus checks gradually, but a little bit quicker. So, what we know right now is the $1,400 stimulus checks are here. They're here to stay, and they will become law at some point. But as to when, we just don't know. We do have a better understanding of the timeline, though. Here's what we know. Nancy Pelosi and both Nancy Pelosi and Senate or House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, they both state that they hope the House will pass this bill, or at least vote on this bill, come February 23rd. That is less than 1 week away. The House and the Senate are currently on recess, so they're not going to get anything done at this point. But they will come back and they will vote on this hopefully on February 23rd. Once they do this, we know from the Senate side they will not take up this bill until the week after. So that will be March 1st, I believe. Let me check the calendar really quick. Yes, that would be March 1st. Now, we also know that the House and Senate have from the 1st until the 26th to pass a bill. Okay, that's 3 weeks. That is 4 weeks. Excuse me, that's 4 weeks to pass a bill. But here's the thing, okay, and here's the issue. The House and Senate go on recess for 2 weeks from March 27th, and they finally come back, I believe, on April 12th or April 13th. That is a big issue because that means 2 weeks where they would not deal with stimulus, which means there's 2 weeks there where we could potentially see nothing get done. This means that if we don't see something happen before the 14th, then people on unemployment lose their benefits. If we don't see something happen before the 26th, we will most likely be in limbo for the rest of that time. So, what I can tell you is this. We are hopefully getting closer. It all depends on what we see happen this coming week. If we see the House pass this bill and it's acceptable to the Senate, and again, we have to see the text first. We haven't even seen the text. We don't even know exactly what is in this bill. And until we know, until we see this, then Democrats and senators like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, we don't know if they're going to be on board or not. Most likely, as soon as we see the text of this bill, which hopefully will happen sometime this week, we still have 2 more days this week. So I anticipate, based on what Nancy Pelosi has said, based on what the White House has said, and also based on what many lawmakers have stated as well, is we will see this bill sometime this week, hopefully within the next 2 days. If we do, we can kind of go through it and we can start to get some insights from our senators as to whether or not they will pass this bill or not. So that's what we know. Again, I understand a lot of this is kind of the same information, but we have to understand both sides. So that's the issue, is I'm trying to stay right in the middle, but in order to stay right in the middle, I got to bring in the Democratic side, got to bring in the Republican side, and there's more than just one Democratic side. We got the progressives, we got the more moderates, and then we got people that really don't want to pass anything. We got some Republicans that, yes, they're on board with additional stimulus, but then we got others that are like, no, no, no. And then we got President Biden and his side, which is technically a different side than the Democratic sides that we've been hearing all about. So there's so much stuff going on right now. There's so much information. I'm just trying to bring everything together so that you can understand and get a complete view of what we are currently seeing. So that's what we know. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll share more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.